Hey everyone, welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Poppell, along with my co-host, William McClelland. What's going on, Will?
Dude, not too much. Just can't believe we got here this far, man.
Yeah, man. This is episode 30, our first year. We started this podcast probably about 2.5 months before the first episode launched. To kind of get some groundwork and start building episodes. That way, we could do what we did as far as like post an episode every single week without fail. Super proud of that. Behind the scenes, we got to give a huge shout out to Lance Miharis. He's one of our content editors who definitely helps us put this together and helps us be able to get this out, every single week. So definitely someone to reach out to on Instagram if you need any help with anything. But yeah, Will, what are some of the things like you're pretty proud of this year that we accomplished with the podcast?
Yeah, dude. No, again, to echo what you said, big shout out to Lance. He goes in the background and makes everything happen. This would not happen. He makes it easy for us, but more importantly for all of the guests coming on. Just a great experience that way. And then most importantly, past that, to get it all to you guys as the listeners. So big shout out there. But dude, I'm just happy to like connect week to week, get all the guests and share the knowledge. Like I actually was trying to track all of, I was like looking through and I was like, shoot, I have like 10 notebooks scattered of different things. So that's been a really big success in my eyes. And dude, honestly, being able just to connect and listen and learn from these people and then have the potential now to do deals with these people I think that's the biggest win.
Definitely. Learning more. There's been a few guests that I think have opened our eyes on things we weren't, totally aware of. I think one of them is I'm looking on the list, Charlie Cameron the assisted living guy.
Crazy.
He's the one who kind of gave us a thought about doing something else with one of our properties that we didn't even think about doing.
Totally.
And we didn't, it just wasn't, you don't know what you don't know. It's what a lot of people way smarter than me have always said. But that was one thing that like, when he told me about residential assisted living, I didn't know. And so that was really cool. But I think we're going to just kind of take this episode and really is kind of show gratitude to all our guests and kind of go back to some of the things, just kind of go through our list and really, take out some of the bullet points I think we got from each one of them because, we got so much out, from these people this year. So, if you hear any bullet points that, you think are great, definitely go back to that person's episode. Because that will only be a few episodes back because, like I said, we're only in year one. This is episode 30. You will be able to, like I said, go back and click on one of these people's episodes to learn more about what they do. And I think we're even hoping to have some of these people back on this next year to dive in deeper to some of the things that they did that they discussed on the show. But Will, you ready to get started with our first past guest?
Yeah, man. Let's dive in. Let's start all the way from the top. Shoot, we're going back over half a year.
Right.
Yeah. So let's do it.
Yeah. So Amy Collins was the first person to sign up to be on our show. Kind of got to give a shout out to Lance, although we didn't disclose it at the time, but Amy is Lance's wife.
Yeah.
So definitely appreciate her coming on the show when she didn't really know what we would be doing because she had no other guests to look at. So.
Exactly.
But some of the things I just remember about, her is that she was a Colorado realtor, but she also really took the time with her clients to try to find affordable options. She didn't want to, shun someone away because they might, not be able to, afford the, high dollar homes and stuff like that. Like I remember her talking about how, she'd even, help figure out if, manufactured homes were an option, for some clients.
No, that was super cool. And something else that I really liked about Amy is her investment into becoming the best realtor. She talked about different types of programs and education that she did, which obviously paid dividends. I think, didn't she sell like over 20 or 30 homes year one. It was something like
that. Yeah. I remember it was. I don't
we'll
remember
have
the
to go back
details
to
of
the
that.
episode.
Yeah, definitely go back. But I remember she
just
had
knocked it out of the park.
I remember a huge number of deals closed this year. And everybody knows, 2024 was a little bit of a slower year in real estate, for many people. I talked to a lot of flippers this year who got guys that are used to, moving homes in 90 days and, having things, sit, for 6-8 months and start to even think about doing, renting them, going to renting them out, and, cash out and doing a refinance and, keep them as rentals because they're not selling. So for her, I want to say it was that at one point of the year that she might have even said like she was going to do like, I think 60 by the end of the year or something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was awesome. So,
but no, that was a good one. And then the next guest.
So if you're a realtor, make sure to go back to that first episode.
Exactly.
Especially if you're getting into the game,
right?
And reach out, go into those show notes, dig into the details, reach out to these people. Also, at the end of every episode that we have, you can get all of their contact information. It's one of our biggest questions that we love to ask, and it's really for you guys because we've contacted the guests.
Right.
We have all of their information.
We got their cell numbers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But so our next guest, again, I'm thankful for everyone that wanted to be our guest, but I'm probably super thankful for our first 5 that really braved it out when we're kind of figuring everything out.
Totally.
So Caleb Drake was the next person that we had. I posted in a Facebook group, real estate group, just telling people that I was looking for guests and stuff like that. Had a new podcast. I'm pretty sure it might have even been his group, Pints and Properties, here in Pensacola that I posted. He commented very quickly that he would definitely be down to do an episode. What a treat that was because he's a agent and he's a broker investor. So he's not only a real estate broker, but he also does his own investing. And then I knew he had a lot of creative strategies. What are some? Did you have anything else you kind of thought about, remembered?
Well, yeah, just for me, it was all about his work-life balance, but then structure.
Structure.
That was,
man.
Yeah, that was what I loved. So
even down to actually when he wanted us to do the meeting was during his block of time he had on a Saturday, which we were happy to accommodate.
Totally.
But now as you say it,
the
man is structured for sure.
So obviously a lot of that instilled heavily because he was retired military, aviation. But I mean, man, his structure, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. He has this time block. So if you go back to that episode, like Sam was saying, we did it on a Saturday because he reviews all of his companies. So he had half a dozen maybe between his brokerage, his rentals, his fix and flips, his group, Pints and Properties, plus all of his daily duties as a husband and father and things like that. So we fit into that time block, and so that was something that I really
he had a section of time carved out for himself on Saturdays, and he was giving us part of that. So super great guy. Definitely learned about structure, time blocking, and actually he's someone we definitely do need to follow up with because I went to a recent Pints and Properties where he was almost ready to close on a syndication deal. So he'll be closing on his He'll be doing a syndication deal very soon. I think the deal he was working on, I think that one might have fallen through. No fault to him. It was an insurance thing. I think that came back. Yeah. But I know he had all the things in a row to get the deal done. If it would have made sense, he's the one who pulled out because I think it was insurance. So I know for sure he'll definitely be closing one this next year. So definitely someone we need to have back.
Heck yeah.
So next guest was Matt Gardner.
Oh yeah.
Someone I looked up to. Yeah, I looked up to him since I first got into real estate investing because I think he was at one of my first meetups and just had an incredible story. But again, another person who started, kind of small with just kind of doing a small partnering on some fix and flips and wholesaling, and then worked his way, became a realtor. Now is a broker. He's doing big things at EXP. But then plus, I mean, all his RV parks and mobile home parks. I think he's in some apartment syndications. And plus, D's Nuts.
D's Nuts.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
that's so funny.
He bought the nut company.
A peanut company.
Right.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So
you guys will definitely have to go back and check that one out. That's awesome.
He definitely knows what he's doing in real estate. If I have a question, he's one of the people that I reach out to, and always super helpful. So definitely someone to reach out to, whether honestly you're looking as an investor or possibly even if you're looking for a broker to work under. And I remember he actually relocated to Tampa in the last year. So
something that I don't even know if you knew is I was at a pig meetup, which is a local real estate meetup, when this young guy who was in the military, pilot. And if you guys don't know Matt's story, make sure you guys go back and listen. But he came, he was looking to make a transition. A few things happened in his life. And I remember he was like, hey, I'm just like, I'm starting my website. And to see how much he's actually crushing it, I look up to him knowing that I was there the first day that he went to a meetup. So it's those types of things.
I didn't know that's where you first saw him at. So you kind of saw him in a similar light I did too.
In Fort Walton. Yeah. I went to a meeting in Fort Walton. He was there. But man, talk about hitting the gas pedal. And then now just being someone that so many people look up to. I mean, super cool guy.
No, definitely. He's someone who, definitely built it, all on his own, starting small, going bigger, so definitely someone to look up to, definitely a show to look back on. And Matt, if you check out this episode, give me a call. We want to have you back in 2025.
Anyone, all of our guests,
all these people we want back. So we kind of see where you guys are now. But
I love that actually. Yeah, and we're doing this episode live, and we have like a couple notes. So if you see us like pinging off, that's just Sam and I's
Yeah, we don't really pre-record. We write a couple things down to make sure we hit it all. But after that, you're seeing what we're just off the top of our head.
Yeah.
But next guest, Sean Ricehouse.
Oh yeah.
So I actually met Sean originally through someone else who we were all gonna partner with on a deal in Destin. Met them all through the Grant Cardone Real Estate Club. So again, kind of giving props to real estate clubs and networking groups in general. Definitely where you meet people that can help you, because they were definitely holding my hands on the deal that we were hoping to do. Didn't quite come to fruition. Florida insurance was the issue. You heard it, but
is that deal still open?
That deal never sold. So it actually shows that we weren't wrong in what we offered. The seller just didn't want to, accept the facts. But because if we were lowballing it, it would have actually, sold by now. But no, this is probably coming up on almost 2 years ago, and I said, deal never sold. So they were.
Sounds like a follow up to me.
Yeah, no, definitely need to, but Sean continues to do big things. I think just closed on another Class A apartment deal down in South Florida.
Something that's crazy about all these guests is how much they've done in just a few years. So for you guys, if you guys haven't gone back, there's a couple that we'll highlight that within 24 to 48 months, they've gone from never having a rental to, I think we've had 3 guests that have over 1,000 units in less than 5 years, right?
I see. So I know we have another one coming, but 1, 2,
and then 3, right?
He's going to be you got treat coming beginning of 2025. That's when you'll see the next one.
Okay,
so there is another one who, and that guy, I mean, go ahead. Tom Bibby Varghese. That's going to be the episode coming in 2025, but he's someone else who scaled very quickly from no real estate other than a personal residence to 1,200 plus units in under 4 years. So that one's on the way.
Yeah.
You know.
Just with that being said,
But
like
there are a couple other on here though that I mean Sean Ricehouse, he's an example of someone we heard he had a construction background.
Yeah.
No real estate, joined the club.
Exactly.
And then yeah, he got over 1,000
in construction background. Really, he goes into he's got an awesome story.
I bet Matt Gardner too is probably 1,000 plus.
I think
units and pads. If you do pads, RV pads.
Yeah,
I bet you he's got 1,000 spots.
Well, I wonder how many guests we have that are over 100 rentals. You know, like I think we're in good shape there. Like,
yeah,
and that's still super impressive. I mean, really impressive
for sure.
But yeah, going back to Sean. I mean, his construction background was just his dad and helping his dad, and then he kind of took that and ran with it and then kind of put it away for a while. And
then I think he started. Then he did did HVAC for a little bit.
Yep.
But but now he's like I said, he's very impressive.
And now education.
Yeah, and now like I said, he runs a big meetup in Texas. Too, and that's where they get a lot of their investors, for their syndications.
Yeah.
Next guest, that
was a fun one.
Jorge Ruiz. I pretty much watched Jorge get started and come along now. He's really cool. Definitely recommend you follow him on Instagram. He's always posting pretty cool stuff. He lives a pretty fun, exciting life. He has a young guy who loves diving and jumping out of planes and crazy stuff. So usually he posts, like I said, he does fun things. But then he's also shares a lot of knowledge of real estate. But he's another former military member turned realtor. So he's great at helping people utilize their VA loan.
Oh yeah. He knows everything about it.
And then also they get rent by the room genius. I mean, that's something I think on the episode you and him really connected on because that was where you got started.
Right. Mine was a little different because I was subleasing leases and and he turned it to ownership. But again, a whole segment of you don't know what you don't know, and that my wheels were turning with him. That was a really fun episode. So that was cool because I think 3 doors, but 16 rooms or something like that. Maybe four doors.
It was
16 rooms.
Yeah, something like that. But
everything's individualized.
But I mean, plus though, like I mean, let's just say his average fee per the room was like $800, and I believe that's probably a little on the low side. I think he's probably close to the 1,000 mark. I mean, his average house is cash flow in 3,200, and so you just think where he would probably more than likely be on like a 4-bedroom house as far as like mortgage, taxes, insurance, and then utilities, probably worst case like 2,500. So I mean, pretty much each house is clearing a stack a month. Almost, he
knows how to leverage that VA loan, so he's not having to pay like PMI and other types of things, low barrier to entry, not having to put a lot of money down. So if anything crazy happens, he's got capital.
Then another benefit he was offering, like people that stayed with him, was then he'd even help them, but by showing them like, hey, I can help you save money by renting the room here instead of having to go replace. But now I can help you buy clients. But then I can help you buy you use your first VA loan to buy a home. So it's like a constant feeder, and with his military connections, they're constantly feeding them tenants, which when they find out that he was a former Air Force member, they're more likely to want to rent from him because it's like, oh, he was one of us. He understands,
Exactly.
And so it's really cool. I love kind of like, I mean, this is something I just kind of observed as I'm talking, but it's cool when you see someone like use like some of their like past connections, their past brotherhood, and move it forward, and like especially someone like in the military, where there is definitely a bond there of like, oh, you went through the hard stuff I went through. And so, it's just knowing that you have someone else then looking out for you when there are sometimes people in military towns that, want to take advantage of, military members, knowing that like, okay, they get this much in living expense. I'm going to charge all that.
Yeah.
And, so it's like I said, cool seeing someone who really looked out for people. So huge shout out to Jorge. But then our next guest is, someone else super awesome in the Pensacola area.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mr. Mustache, Colby Nellums.
Such a cool guy, man.
Yeah.
Such a cool guy.
I love a trademark look. He was one of our 2 guests that had a, real strong trademark look. Like I said, if you knew about, Colby with his mustache, that guy is a machine as far as like wholesaling and moving real estate. I mean, he gets it done. Definitely, he was one of our first guests that I think I really saw it going big as far as like a real professional business wholesale operation.
Oh, totally.
Like I know a bunch of I know a bunch that have that do a lot of work, but but then also, like I said, some of them like to do it on the smaller scale, where that way and there's nothing wrong with that, because like when you do it on the small scale, you have no one else to pay. So if you go find the house, put it under contract, sell the house, you don't have to charge a whole lot, but you get to keep the whole bucket,
everything.
But but like to do it like real professional business where you have 30,000 flyers going out every single month. That costs X number of dollars.
You have an office administrator.
Exactly.
I mean, all of it.
Yeah. So it's like at a certain point you gotta crush $10,000 worth of contract closings or 15 whatever it is as a baseline just to stay even.
Totally.
So it's really cool.
Also, like being able to get with these guests, some the local ones, I think something that's been really really cool is we'll catch dinner or lunch with these guys. Colby was a great example of that, right, where we had so many questions about his business and we just didn't have enough time to add it to the episode. So we were like, hey man, you want to catch some lunch? And we're still trying to do a couple deals with him, which is going to be great. But just talking about building the business, extreme ownership. I remember he was like all about Jocko, and that bled not only out of the episode, but even when we were talking in person, so extreme ownership and some really good things. I really enjoyed him. And would like to get him back on. So we're going to do a couple new things, coming into 2025 that I think you guys might like.
We'll talk about that on episode 31. Though. All right, we'll stay on the guest, but come and sit. We're about to tell you our new plan for 2025.
Yeah.
We definitely still have a couple more guests that'll be launching in our previous format that you're used to. So definitely that. Someone else we had, awesome wholesaler, cool guy, J. Paul Mills.
Yeah.
So seven kids and flipping.
Well, that's his business, but he has 8 kids.
You're right. You're right. Exactly. But branded on the 7.
Super cool guy. His wholesale mastermind's actually how Sam and I met. And it's cool doing some things. And I really value Sam and I's relationship outside of just a business, because it's hard to like find. Oh, maybe it could just be me. An adult best friend that you didn't know like when you were in college or high school or something like that, and you guys are bonding over like after, when you're in your 30s and things, you're kind of set in your ways, like you do things a certain way, you work out a certain way, you have your rituals, the way you run your business and things, and then to be able to kind of find someone that's like-minded in that, I think is pretty special. So, so always have to say thanks to J. Paul,
definitely,
for having that mastermind, and letting us meet. But he's one that opposite of, of Colby, running a great, huge wholesaling operation, but doing it solo, a solopreneur, just kind of crushing it that way too. So
exactly. No. And the thing I like about J. Paul is, he gives kind of a little bit of perspective. Is I think one of the things I think you and me really bond over is like our mission to grow and be big.
Yeah.
Like, like we're trying to, like they said, this next year, we really want to do some things to, make our website better. So you guys can, bring us more information so we can bring more information to you. But, Will and I are always thinking the bigger picture, trying to do this move to then reinvest it into the next move,
Yeah.
J. Paul he's ready for that sailboat life.
Yeah. I remember he's talking.
Yeah. And, it's just, I really appreciate people that, know where their piece is and like can see it and can go get it.
Totally.
Because like, I don't have that. I got to keep going for the next thing, my victory is short lived whenever I accomplish something, so I really appreciate seeing people just being able to like enjoy, their accomplishment and, and living it, and stuff, because it's just, like I said, nice to see. And it's really cool. Like I said, with his whole family life, how he's really, pushing that so he can, have more time with them.
It is cool.
But speaking of, another family guy who got, kind of got into flipping full time so he could, set his own hours and stuff.
Yeah.
Daniel Tidwell.
Another great episode.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we can highlight specifically, what each person kind of does. Certain episodes, when you go and look at the titles, there might be some realtors out there. There might be some flippers out there listening. There might be some wholesalers. So that's kind of why we're doing this recap episode. So again, if you're a wholesaler, you definitely need to listen to J. Paul and Colby's episode. That's something that you should highlight. If you're looking to get into syndications or big deals, go back and listen to Sean Ricehouse's. If you're a little mix of everything, check out Caleb Drake and Matt Gardner. And we've got tons of really great realtors on here, including that first episode with Amy Collins, like we said. So there's so many different ways to be in real estate, and that's really our I think that's our common goal, is we're trying to hit everything for all of our listeners.
Right. No, we're really trying to, like I said, give a place where, people can, learn about, the kind of real estate they want to learn about, because it is such a broad category, and I mean, I've done a lot and Will's done a lot, but we definitely haven't done it all. Even if we combine what we've both done.
No, not even close.
Like, like I said, our 2025 guest, we're going to talk about industrial flex space.
Oh yeah,
we want to get into that.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
We're not now, and that's something else we want to learn about.
Totally.
But Daniel Tidwell, a thing I really liked about him is, just like I said, full-time flipping. But I really, I'll follow him on social media and stuff, and I see him. He's constantly on the job, checking his things, posting stuff. But he can also tell he's a really great family guy. Prioritizes time with them and stuff. And
building a whole lifestyle and a business around that, right?
Exactly.
I think that's cool too.
And then it's cool because like him and his wife, feed off each other too. With her being a realtor and everything. I often see him helping her put signs in the ground, and I know she's selling his houses. So I mean, it's like I said, great relationship. Love to see that.
Another like couple right there where they know what they want. They're constantly working with growth. But solopreneurs again, just like it's right. All in-house, all family. And then really a lot of even their subs and things like that, right? They do a lot of their own work.
I think he said he worked with his father-in-law a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, totally cool. So if you guys are out there and you're not thinking about maybe a huge operation or something like that, there's ways and episodes to listen to of these like really, really successful people that are doing it and making it happen.
Right.
And multiple facets of real estate too.
Yeah. So. Well, and then we get to our next guest, our first international guest.
So cool.
Salvador Rivas. So like I said, he's a friend from Mexico. Met him through some Grant Cardone events. So definitely whenever you're going to any kind of major event, real estate event, bigger pockets event, definitely network as many people as possible because, you don't know how I'll help out later. Salvador, like I said, great guy. I met him at one event, and then I saw him another one. That's where I introduced him in person to Will.
So cool. Awesome guy. I mean, if you guys didn't listen to that episode talking about someone who's really established,
world knowledgeable, world traveled, like because I'm always super impressed, when someone who's not from America speaks clear English. But that's like a huge, big on its own.
Arguably,
but then
way better than Sam and I on the episode. He's articulating everything.
But then I'm gonna take it to another level.
Yeah.
But then he's like, spent all that time in Europe too.
Yeah.
So he's like, getting knowledge from both North America and Europe.
Yeah.
America and Mexico. I mean, so he's got a broader view than anyone could have just living in one area.
Totally.
Because like I said, I think he lived in London.
In London for 15 years.
Yeah.
Went to school,
architecture. And I didn't even know that till the episode. It was like,
awesome.
I honestly thought like, oh, it's cool, this guy from Mexico. But no, I mean, London educated. So like I said, it's just really cool because like I said, I learned all that in the episode, so it kind of tells you how humble the guy is also.
Incredible.
Like you gotta pull it out, because he doesn't want to brag, but he's designed some really impressive things. And like I said, I can't say enough good things about him.
One of the largest design firms in all of Mexico.
Yeah.
He's doing some really, really cool green space projects.
It's incredible.
Just really, really cool stuff.
Yeah. Super blessed he gave us his time, because like I said, definitely the guy's busy. And then also, speaking of busy people, our next guest, Heather Blatz.
Oh yeah.
So man, she's been a rock star the whole time I've known her.
Mm-hmm.
In real estate, as a broker, doing fix and flips. So I mean, that's really cool. And then hearing her now talk about transitioning into being into life coaching,
Totally.
and professional business coaching and stuff like that.
Something cool for the listeners is the first time I ever met Heather. I was going to see Sam at her real estate meetup. Sam was the guest speaker. So just talking about like cool connections that you can make with all of these people in your local area.
Right.
I think that's something that is really, each episode, it's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer, like building your network, understanding that people around you can give you new ideas that might have been right in front of you, that you just needed to hear, a different tune to.
Exactly.
And I just love that. And that episode was great. She is just, world-class in what she does. And then she talks a lot about, how sales and her experiences are from two totally different areas, but they collaborate to make her businesses effective in really every business she goes into. She was managing gyms, and then now she's transitioning to be a life coach, educational coaching, all kinds of cool things. So,
yeah, and let's not leave out that she's a mom of I think four children.
Yeah.
So has all the normal mom stuff, to do with that. Like
times 4.
Yeah, like she is a very involved. Like, I mean, I follow her on social media too, and so she's very involved with her kids and their activities and stuff. I think that was one of her reasons for getting into real estate to begin with, be able to have that family time.
Yeah. So for those of you that might be listening and you're like, oh, this isn't the right time for me, I'm so busy, or I'm not really sure. There's episodes of like every life stage. I mean, going down to Jorge, I think he was maybe 21, 22, right?
Yeah, maybe. Then, 23 is probably at the latest. Yeah.
So I mean, absolutely crushing it. All the way to people completely changing their whole lifestyles. Up to 8 kids, going into totally different directions and kind of utilizing real estate in some sort of facet to propel either more monetary and financial stability or that time with their kids. So I think it's super cool.
Yeah, and then our next guest, Scott Mueller, he and I have our Clean Eats bond together. Shout out to Clean Eats.
Yeah.
Clean Eats franchisee, and then he's also flips. Flipping, I think, is his main thing, with Clean Eats being kind of the side thing, which is kind of like I said, real estate's kind of become my main thing as well. But know him from Clean Eats. Great guy. The thing I love about Scott is, Super honest. He talked about he's very resilient. Talked about many times that mistake had happened and he learned from it.
I love that.
Didn't hide or sugarcoat. Did what I like to call rewinded the game tape. On it. Like basically, okay, if this would have happened, we could have made money, but because it didn't, we didn't see this. But now we know to avoid it next time. But I think he's going to continue to do more and more in real estate. I definitely recommend checking his episode. What else did you think on that one?
Yeah, man, I thought one, it's cool that you guys met through Clean Eats,
right.
And then you have this supplemental business, right? These serial entrepreneurs. That's something that I really, really always love to see. Which we have a couple other guests that they're utilizing real estate maybe originally for tax advantages, and then next thing you know, because the entrepreneurial spirit's just running through them, they boom, take off. Right. But super cool guy, and something remind me, I'm pretty sure Scott might have been one of the first guests that was like, hey, we made no money on this deal. We actually lost a couple $100, but I learned this, and so that never happened again. Right. Running that. And that's something that I think is super cool, because don't give up, right. Being resilient, just like he said, there might be a little mistakes. As long as you're learning from them, it's not going to happen the next time. You just keep not making those mistakes. Next thing you know, you do 2, 3, 4 things. Boom. Right. Everything you're doing, your profits are just, steadily
and one thing I want to add too, and like I said, I'm not a tax professional. This isn't tax advice, but it is something. But it's a tax professional. But an observation I've made that has worked out for me is that as long as you don't make your last bad deal your last deal, you can always turn it into a winner. Yes. Because if your last deal, or the deal you're about to do or did, or like I said, going to be your last one when you finish it, ends up being a loss. Well, you can always put that loss to your next win. So like the next property, this property is going to lose 20 grand. The next property is going to make 100. Well, you can, your account will be able to deduct that loss, for your profit, and roll that loss in, to help you, be able to, win the following round.
Yeah. So just keep going.
Again, talk to your accountant to make sure everything I said was accurate. I'm just telling you how things have worked out for me. But at the same time, like I said, that is one thing I want to make sure people know. There's a lot of people always hear about the person who lost money, but the one thing that no one ever talks about is how much money people spend to go to college with no guaranteed win there. So
I like that.
Yeah, if you're going to spend,
something we're not even talking about. Totally.
Yeah. So you spend all this money to go get an education where you may or may not win, but man, if you lose just $5-10 grand on a deal, it sucks. I mean, that's cheaper than college, and now you probably know how to do it right.
Sure. Sure. Because college is only getting more expensive.
Right. And hardly worth it unless you want to be a certain kind of professional. So
we're not advocating one way or the other. There's just lots of ways to win.
Hey,
lots of ways
NBA to win. Kicked out. Both here at the same table. So
it's and I think being open and receptive to everything is really the trend of all of these episodes, right? There's so many different things, but man, we've been giving such a great recap to our listeners. Maybe we kind of wrap this and then get another episode going on the rest of them, or because if not, this is gonna be a 4-hour episode.
I mean, we can. I mean, there's we can. Well, if we finish these out, then we can kind of make our next. Then we kind of go into the next one about just talking what our plans are for 2024.
Keep it rolling. Hey, you guys put us on 1.5.
So yeah. All right. So yeah, we won't be too much long, like I said. But these last few guests really were great.
It's just been getting a little better each time, and like Sam said, that's why we're so thankful to have these original guests, man. Yeah. It's just been a blessing.
So Ryan Kiesler, I'm definitely sending you this episode when it comes out, and if you're listening, I need to book you and your wife again, because actually Ryan has one of our most viewed episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
So absolutely killing it.
Yeah, so Ryan, we definitely need you back. One, because of that. Two, because you're just an awesome guy, and I really, you shared a lot that kind of lets us know that you really do do this with your wife, and so
cool.
Definitely would benefit from having you both on the show. But Ryan's a cool guy. So when you see Ryan at the meetup, he's the total what I want to call the sleeper in the room, because he's a modest person.
Such a cool
won't brag about it. Always goes up trying to learn from everyone else. But then if you taught him just a little bit, you find out, man, this guy's got 20-something houses.
Yeah.
So
he was buying onesie twosies.
Yeah.
If you go back to that episode, it is so cool.
Yeah.
He's the man.
And a lot of his are paid off. He doesn't, this guy, my boy Ryan, he does not like doing debt. We had this conversation, probably twice a year, where I'll be like, you could refinance all those, and walk with a fat check. But he's adverse to doing it, which I respect him for it. Like, that's not for everyone. Don't listen to me. If you're not comfortable with it, you got to do what's right for you. And that's, like I said, I respect that about Ryan.
Yeah, and another cool thing about Ryan and his wife, full-time W-2s for very strenuous positions. Both of them kind of exact level. I think he's a full regional or district sales manager.
He's all over the place. Like, he leases me all my printers, which my Clean Eats restaurants from Mobile, Alabama to Tallahassee, Florida.
Right.
And he said he's the one who did my lease on all those.
Oh, man. Yeah,
so like I said, full time at that.
And he's been doing it for years, maybe a couple decades, and so then working these jobs, but something that like Sam said, steadily buying and paying them off and rolling.
And he's another cool one for people that, wonder, like, man, like, how am I ever going to do it? Because Ryan came from, nothing. We joked about on the show that he had his first house before he got his GED. So like he
definitely go back and listen.
Super
cool
episode. He had a little bit of a rougher childhood. Awesome dude, super proud of him, like, both as his friend and a fellow investor, because I look up to him. But like I said, he persevered, through life, got up these 20-something rentals. Now he lives on the water. So like I said, I'm proud of that guy. But I recommend all of our listeners listen to his, if you want to, like, hear a story of, like, someone who went, grew it, because not everyone starts at a different place, but I'm always most inspired from the people that, start from scratch, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
But next one, Josh Laguerre. Josh, another former military guy, knows how to use the VA, short-term rental superstar.
Short-term rental superstar.
So,
yeah.
I mean, his episode, I remember, I just loved his lighting in the background. He had that awesome sign behind him.
It's like green, all done. Super cool guy. I mean, incredible. He actually, big shout out to him, because he gave us leads on like 4 other guests. You know? So to have him, give us his time, and then on top of that, help all you guys get, more educated through different facets of real estate. He gave us some really great leads, and just super cool guy, jumping out of planes when he was in the military, just doing some really, it kind of talks a little bit about that. So thanks for all of our guests that have been in service and everyone out there.
And the other cool thing about Josh, he's another example that networking is super important, because he is the reason we had our next 2 guests after that. And, just definitely, since I've had him on the episode, I follow him on social. So I've, seen him at other EXP events and things like that, still growing, still selling houses. But this next guest, I'm actually going to let Will talk about it, because I think Will was so inspired off of him. He even took all the lending tests.
Oh, yeah.
Already. So, so I'll let you kind of start with that on Albert Souza.
Yeah, Albert, incredible guy, around our age. He's just running kind of a machine of lending and mortgage, Apex Mortgage or Mortgage Apex, and so I was super excited.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna tell you? One thing, a funny thing I learned from him.
Yeah,
pick the right father-in-law. I'm just joking. Hey, look, I think because actually, but there is truth in that. if you can get a bonus of getting a father-in-law that's going to be a mentor, like holy cow! Because I think he learned a whole lot. He gave that guy a lot of credit for guiding him.
He did
on what to go do to I think be in position he is today.
So I just finished it up, but Albert actually sent me a copy of his father-in-law's book.
Oh wow!
Really, really cool. Anyway, Albert's just crushing it over in Fort Walton. He's a creative lending, doing all kinds of things from A to Z, really for investors, to everyday home buyers. He has a number of mortgage originators and processors and everything that he's able to help anyone, get funded the right way and find the right products. That's something that I really liked about him, is that he's extremely knowledgeable. His father-in-law was in it for over 25 years and was really teaching him the right way, which I think is why his business is doing so well now.
Yeah. And by the way, I was just kidding on the phone because Albert is killing it. I'm super impressive.
He's super sharp.
I mean, and a humble guy, again, he as you just talk to him and then you're learning how old he is and all this, it's like, whoa, dude, you're not killing it. And then,
and he just had his first baby. So that's cool.
Well, and then,
congrats if you're listening. Man.
Another cool thing that he does is he's also a meetup host for Pints of Properties in Fort Walton. Yep. So if you are in the Fort Walton area and are going and looking for a great meetup, his Pints of Properties is there. Again, Pints of Properties is also here in Pensacola. That's Caleb Drake's side. Great meetup to go to, great for networking. But also, a meetup is definitely a great thing if you have the time to host one, so that way you can build these kind of connections as well.
Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, he really inspired me. So I went ahead and did all my education and hopefully going to be helping Albert and learning from him soon. So so if you guys need some lending, just give us a shout.
So next guest, Charlie Cameron. Again, talk about someone who taught, the things you don't know. Totally. Talk about someone who taught us some things we didn't know and things that we can look for on property, because he is doing big things in the residential assisted living space. He's got a fund that people can invest in to go in that. But he really gave Will and I an idea about as far as like building them from scratch, because it's just like I said, it's something we never really thought about before. Kind of always thought of assisted living as a commercial development, and didn't realize like there's a residential version of it.
Totally. And since we kind of like building, a big part of that episode that he said is their biggest hurdle is renovating and making these properties where they're compliant to become residential assisted living places. And he's actually now gravitating, thinking price per square foot, it makes more sense. New ground construction is appreciation's higher. So that's something that was really cool. The guy is super sharp. He loves spreadsheets. You'll hear him say that a few times in the episode. And so I really think you'll like that, because like he said, you don't know what you don't know. And I just had no idea about residential assisted living. It's like such a cool, you're renting rooms out. So kind of going back to Jorge, right?
Yeah, rent by the room, but then it's totally different, because you have a nursing staff, on hand to maintain it. And then, it is a little bit of a higher level, higher quality clientele, too, because generally speaking, the kind of tenants you'd have in this would be someone who had a family living nearby, who wants their family member close, but maybe for some reason or other can't have them with them, or just can't be watching them full time around the clock, 24 hours a day, and so, in those tougher situations, some of these assisted living homes are, really great and helpful, in that kind of, thing, because that way you can, the family member that has to be at the living home can still have, some freedom and, as far as being able to, do some things and have a little bit of independence, but at the same time, have, nursing staff and, staff members there that can assist them and watch out if there's, a potential problem. So definitely, like I said, super interested in that episode. gave Will and I something else to look at. One of our properties that we were contemplating building on it, contemplating selling on it. Yes, selling it, but possibly looking at residential assisted living as something we could do with it. Honestly, if we were going to build on it, that'd probably be the highest and best use as far as a construction project goes.
Definitely.
So we'll probably consider doing that or selling it next year. That'll be something we'll be talking about in our what's up for 2025 episode. But going on to the next guest. Another great guy, really runs a really great business as far as a professional, but also another branded look. The mullet man, Mike Hamby. He has his own meetup, does wholesaling, does flipping, also has great floor connections. Great dude.
Awesome mullet,
Yeah.
The mullet man. Yeah. He talks a lot about how he got started, gives a lot of kudos to We Buy Ugly Houses and how he started with that franchise. Really cool episode to listen to how to get involved and how to get into multiple parts of real estate from the ground up. So I think I really enjoyed having him on and
just discussing like his whole dispo plan. I'll put it under contract. If I don't want to flip it, I wholesale it. If I can't wholesale it, I'll wholetail it, and just kind of going through.
Different options, different exit strategies, understanding
if I can't sell it, I'll just, I'll rent it out and refinance it.
Yep. So, and he's into all of it. So, and then some other things that I really liked is how he knows his max loads for carrying costs. So he's like, hey man, this is a great deal. I would love to take it down. I've got a lot of my plate right now. So you know what I'm about to do is I'm just going to give this great deal to someone else. So I thought that was kind of cool as opposed to, taking all the good deals and then only relisting ones that don't make as much sense. He just knows his load and how many he can do. And I think that's another recipe to success is that when he puts stuff out, it's always a good deal.
Right. Yeah. He's not a gouger. Some people I've seen, we definitely have seen some people try to, hit us for $100K on a deal. Definitely not one of those guys, cool guy, fair guy. And really love what he's doing. Like I said, he knows his stuff, and it's really cool to see someone just knows what they're doing and they're doing it.
Totally. Again, another guy talking about just diving deep into education, and then it all those hours spent just pay off infinitely. So
right. Mike Ruiz was our next guest. He was cool because he's a great person to look at that if you just want to invest in real estate, but you don't want to make real estate your main thing because he loved his job, he did, so he totally did it as a passive, VA deal as far as, how he did his real estate, wasn't really, to maximize, as far as he wasn't worried about creating the biggest bucket of wealth at the end. It was more about, creating, freedom, creating freedom and stuff, for him there.
Just, one, two, he was really trying to build on top of his guaranteed retirement. He loves flying. He was a pilot. Now he's teaching. And he just talks a lot about how much he just loves what he does. He loves being in the air. And so he was able to really just add an extra element into his legacy to his kids and things like that. So I really loved his episode. Super nice guy. Super well spoken.
And he was, and the other cool thing you can kind of get from him is like I said, you don't necessarily have to make real estate your main thing in life to take advantage of the things real estate has to offer. Because, he was even doing some of the, living it a couple of years, then selling it, to keep those, be able to avoid paying taxes. Again, talk to your accountant, but there's something in the tax code where if you live in a home the past 2 years out of the last 5, you can defer some of the taxes. I believe it's a $250,000 per individual and $500,000 per couple, married couple.
And then his wife was in the military, so they were able to
they were double down VA loans together.
Yeah, so cool.
So really
a lot of cool information.
Yeah. So like I said, a lot you can get, and like I said, he's going part time. Now these next guests, Will was on hiatus that week, so I'll kind of give them a quick overview. But Bryce Thigpen and Vivian Walsh, young couple, great people, super knowledgeable in real estate. Bryce and I, we've talked a couple times since the podcast episode. Great wholesaler. He's a dispo expert. So if you have a deal and you're not able to sell it, feel free to shoot it to him, because he'll split it with you, as far as he'll find the buyer, and y'all can split the commission. And he loves to work with people, loves to help people dispo deals they're having a hard time selling. So definitely a great person to talk to about wholesaling. Vivian, his girlfriend, so they bought a couple of places together, but she's the Airbnb short-term rental expert. She also does a lot of design, just from kind of like seeing Bryce's office and some of the things she's posted on Instagram, has great taste. So definitely I recommend checking out their episode, going on Instagram and following them, because they have a lot of great knowledge. But then the next week, we had Dustin and Kristen Hippensteel.
Oh yeah, that was another fun one. Really cool. Just going all about being a family and growing from nothing to something huge. I really like their story. And their husband-wife duo crushing it. Really, I loved Crystal just sticking by Dustin. He had these big ideas, and hey, we're going to move into a house, and I just bought it. It has no door on it. Dude, welcome home.
Well, and then the other thing is,
and then having someone just to support you the whole time. Super cool episode.
Well, then, and talk about inspiring, because he even talks about how he went from making $14 an hour, working at the prison as a prison guard, to making his entire year's salary in one check off the first flip. And so just kind of again showing you that you don't have to have tons of money to get in. They got in using taking advantage of first time home buyer loans and things like that required low money. And then he just worked it on his off days. Going to work, then as soon as he gets off, working his day off, working all day, and just building that. And then now contractor. We talked to him the other day. He was telling me hey, if you guys need commercial builds, to definitely let him know.
So cool. Yeah.
I need to tell you that. Tell us to let him know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. So now, they moved all across the country, from the Midwest.
I think it was
over to
Indiana,
to Mexico. And now to Florida, and he's a contractor here. So just really awesome couple. Great episode to listen to.
Yep. Now, and he ate at Clean Eats the other day. So,
love that.
So,
big shout out to Clean Eats.
Exactly.
Our sponsor. So if you guys haven't gone, make sure to check out your local location in Pensacola, Mobile, Shalimar, Tallahassee,
Right. Well, and then our last guest of 2024, Jeff Brown. Jeff, we got to give him another shout out for coming up with books that we never heard of,
Dude,
or never listened, never read before.
That was awesome.
He's the only one that's done that to us.
Yeah, we went 0 for 4, right?
Yeah, on all his, yeah. And and no offense to the rest of you guys, because Will and I are just good readers, but we literally have never had another guest give us I would say at the worst case, we've had maybe 1 out of the 3 books presented where Will and I hadn't read it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, between the two of us, we read them all.
Between the two of us.
I would read 2, he'd read 1. There's a lot of times we both read all 3. But if you add the 2 of us up, usually between the 2 of us, we've read them all. And so, like I said, Jeff Brown, thank you. I'm waiting on that time blocking book to come in. It's already ordered on Amazon. Should be here the first week of January. It's a little bit behind on the ordering is what it said. But
yeah, no, that was, and Jeff's another super, super cool guy. Again, talking with home investors, we buy ugly houses. Two kind of different business models between him and Mike Hamby. So that's really cool to see that the franchise allows a lot of things to come together. So there's about 10 franchisees holders in the Panhandle area, and they can all work together, but they're not competing against each other. So that's something that I think if you're investing in the exact same franchise and you feel that way, there's 0% chance that you and someone else that have the same business model at a meetup should be competing against each other. If people who are paying thousands, did they mention what the startup cost was? Was it $25,000 or something like that?
I don't remember. I don't remember if they gave us a number or not.
Yeah, but whatever. It's a pretty heavy initiation cost, and if those guys are all helping each other on the same franchise, then we should all just be trying to help each other grow. And I think that's something cool, and something I really liked about Jeff was just how open and honest. Like the guy, he loved his coin shop.
Dude, I saw recently on Instagram. I think he just got back from an expo, again he was another one about kind of how like Jay Paul loves his sailing. Jeff liked his collectibles. Yeah. It's cool to see people like said get into real estate, make the business of it, but then still enjoy other things. You don't have to be 100% obsessed with it like Will and me. Yeah. So like I said, it's cool, really cool to see people balance. But no, Jeff is running a great business with his brother. I'm hoping to get his brother on the show this next year. Yeah,
definitely. Or both of them at the same time.
Yeah, but the thing I got them is again a little bit back to what Mike Hamby does is just when I asked him like what do y'all mainly do, he's like, well, we do it all the ways. As far as like they flip them, they'll wholesale them. They'll rent them out. After fix them up. So, like I said, it's cool seeing people use multiple exit strategies and not be all in one way. So and just knowing that some deals work better this way and some deals work better that way.
Yeah. No. Well, man, I really enjoyed this recap. I think, we're right at the top of the hour here. I really would love our comment section for this episode just to go off, talking about you guys' favorite episodes, more content that you really like and would like to see more of.
Definitely on our website. Feel free to on the bottom to fill out that message thing and let us know if there's a topic in real estate that you have questions on and don't know about, because Will and I don't know everything about real estate.
Not even close.
Believe it or not, just kidding. But
not even close.
Yeah, not even close. But the cool thing is, based on all of our networking, is we probably know someone who knows almost everything about the category you want to know about. And we will work hard to get that person on the show to answer questions.
Or if you're that person and you want to be on the show, we'd love to have you, because we know that there's listeners that would love to learn from you. You know?
And I'll go ahead and put it out there right now that I'm personally interested in learning from anybody who's in the industrial flex space. I want you on for me, so I can interview. I'm interested in people that have started real estate funds, who've done syndications, because I want to learn more about that, so I can be better at what I do. So if you do any of those things and you're interested in coming on the show and sharing your story, if you're a real estate developer, Will and I love hearing about new construction, new property development. If you buy land and subdivide it and sell lots, I'm super intrigued to hear about that. But again, those are some things I want to learn about. So if you know those topics, please reach out to us either through Instagram or through our website. Just fill out the thing at the bottom. We'll reach out to you. And again, if you're a listener who's new to real estate and you do want to learn about something specific we haven't talked about yet, or you want to hear more about it, because everybody does it a little differently.
Totally.
Everybody flips a little differently. Everyone wholesales a little differently. We will get more of those people on, for you. So just tell us what you're interested in, because this is all about educating and helping people that want to get into real estate.
Yep. So blow up those comments, like, subscribe. We really love having you guys. We love doing this. It really has in this past year been. It's like my favorite day of the week. I get to connect with Sam, and then most importantly get to learn from some really great people, and then we get to put it all together. Lance helps us put it all together for you guys. To learn from. So again, this episode should have the most amount of chatter in the comments, and I'm really excited to read through and try and get some cool guests for you guys. So thanks again.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for watching us today, and check us out at the EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. The EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. Go to our website. And then come see us at one of the Clean Eats locations in Tallahassee, in Pensacola, in Shalimar, Florida, and in Mobile, Alabama. But other than that, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.
Let's go.